Hello and welcome to Junior Achievement's Virtual Speaker Series. Today I am honored to have with us Tim Vogel, who is the CEO and founder of Scenthound. Welcome, Tim. Thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you so much for having me today.
Excellent. Well, let's start with, what did you do after high school? Where did you go from there?
So when I graduated high school, I went straight to college and I got a degree in psychology, and I was really interested in human potential. So that's why I got into psychology.
Excellent, excellent. So, and did you do a 2-year or 4-year? Psychology, I know, is a rather lengthy major in itself.
I did a 4-year undergraduate. I had the option for a master's program, but I decided I wanted to get into the mix, and so I went and got a job after that.
Okay. Did you, had you always known you wanted to do psychology?
You know, I was always very fascinated by human potential. Once I got into psychology, it was much more about disorders at the time that I was in psychology. So I kind of fell out of love with it and decided to go into business.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about that. What do you actually do, and what does your day look like?
Yeah, so now as the founder and CEO of Scenthound, Scenthound is a wellness business for dogs, and Scent is actually an acronym. It stands for skin, coat, ears, nails, and teeth, the 5 core areas all dogs need care. And I think there's really kind of 5 big functions I have within my job. So number 1 is really making sure we have the right team and culture, so hiring the right people, making sure that the company is capitalized and we're spending money responsibly, learning big relationships, and I blanked on the 5th one, but yeah, there's really thinking about just making sure that the business is within the parameters and making sure that we've got the right butts in the right seats.
Okay. And why did you want to be an entrepreneur? Why did you want to work for yourself and start your own business?
You know, I think it was really surrounding being involved in something I was passionate about. And so I think I would have been fine working in an organization if it had a mission that spoke to me and I felt like I was contributing in a meaningful way to the world. And as I looked at the different jobs I had throughout history, you know, none of them really scratched that itch for me. And so ultimately, I decided to create my own thing so that I could feel aligned and passionate about what I was doing on a daily basis. And so what we do at Scenthound is we care for dogs in a preventive way, but we fundamentally believe that dogs make people better. And people are using dogs to deal with anxiety. You know, you think about pandemics, you think about political discourse, you think about 24-hour news cycle, all these other things. It creates anxiety, and people are using dogs to deal with their anxiety. So how do we help people live happier, healthier lives? By bringing dogs in. Dogs are really a side door, bringing dogs into their life and helping them become empathetically connected to those dogs. So the way we think about it is we help people practice love on a daily basis through their dog. And we love dogs so much because they do so much for us, so we should be giving back to dogs. So helping dogs live happier, healthier lives is also part of our mission, which
I love that idea. And I know there are a lot of people listening to this who are passionate and think about going into that as a career path as well. So I know being an entrepreneur, sometimes you come up with ideas that fail, and sometimes, you know, obviously Scenthound has been very, very successful. But did you have other ideas that you came up before Scenthound, and why was Scenthound so successful for you?
Yeah, so Scenthound is so successful because we spent a decade trying to figure it out.
Okay.
And so I originally started a business, which was a mobile pet grooming business, which is really about styling, about giving dogs the best haircut they could possibly get. After being in that for a while, I started to realize there was a whole bunch of barriers to scalability in that business. And that really wasn't what this should be about. It should be about the health and wellness of dogs, not about the look. So we're about health, not about haircuts. And that was an evolution. And in business terms, we think about that, figuring out product market fit. What is the best thing for our customers? How do we make it so that our customers win? And that's the dog and the dog parent. And so we started out with a very different business. And through the evolution and learning over the years, we went from mobile and we moved into a retail location where we could train more trimmers, because that was a big barrier to scalability in the business. After being in the business for a bunch of years, we realized it's really about health, not about haircuts. And there was no easy way for parents to, in a fast, easy, and affordable way, to get the basic routine care their dogs needed. And if you have a boxer, you love them as much as if you have a poodle. Boxers don't need haircuts, but they do need care. And so there was an evolution, and I think there's a myth in business out there that I'm going to start a business that's going to be successful. You have to do your 10,000 hours. You have to understand what what the marketplace looks like. You have to have a deep learning of your industry before you can really start to have the kind of success we're having. And so it took us a decade to kind of figure out what, then it took us another 5 years to really get it right before we could amplify it. And amplification really looks like franchising.
Right.
So we had 6 of our own stores before we franchised. Now we've got a couple hundred developing across the country, but they don't see the iceberg below the water, which is that 15 years of hard work and learning and development and evolution to get to a point where then you could scale something that has truly amplifies your impact across the country.
Right. So yours is not a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job.
No, I don't think entrepreneurship. And there's a famous quote, I think it was Elon Musk that said it. Someone said, you know, what encouragement could you give to entrepreneurs to keep going? And he says, if I have to encourage you, don't do it.
Right.
It has to truly come from inside. The passion is the necessary juice and energy to drive you to do the work that you do, because this is not a 9 to 5 job. And you don't often put it on a shelf, go home and have, you know, not thoughts. I'm constantly thinking about the business, but at the same time, I love what I do. It's a passion of mine. So I like being there. So it's not like this is a job for me. This is part of who I am.
So that's a great lead on to my next question, which would be, what if our students were watching and they were interested in middle school and high school in becoming an entrepreneur and being as successful as you are with Scenthound? What advice would you give to them now while they're still looking at classes to choose and passions and colleges to choose? What advice would you give to them now?
I would say have lots of experiences. Go out and get involved in all kinds of things, because the path to finding out who you are and what you're really passionate about is often found through finding things that you don't like. So you gotta start identifying, here's all the things that I'm not really passionate about, things that I don't really succeed at, things that I'm not really great at, that you can start to eliminate and clear the road for you to find the things that you are really good at. What comes to you naturally? What could you do for hours and hours and hours and still feel energized by it? And I think that comes from having lots of experiences. So when you're in middle school and you're in high school, get as wide of a variety of experiences as you can, because that will help you better discover yourself.
Perfect. And then just my last question is, within a company such as yours, what career opportunities are available for students? Or do you hire do you look for a college degree? What do you look for, and what careers could you offer?
It's kind of bifurcated. There's kind of 2 areas. There's, you know, working in one of our centers with dogs. We have an absolute career path. We start you as what's called a scent tech. We give you all of the education to ultimately run one of these centers or run multiple centers. And so we had, you know, kind of our star case is Jenna. She started with us at 18 years old, bathing dogs, ultimately to get to a place where she was running all 6 of our stores, very successful. And so that's one opportunity for someone who's looking for an entry-level opportunity to teach them those skills and to ultimately teach them how to run a business. At our corporate centers, you know, at our corporate headquarters where we help franchisees and support them, there's opportunities in marketing, there's opportunities in operations, there's opportunities in technology. So whatever your focus is, you know, depending on what you're passionate about, there are opportunities in all of those different areas to start at an entry-level place and work your way up.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tim. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Claire, thank you so much. Really had a lot of fun.
Thank you.